we're about to talk to a mum here.
Yeah.
Now, she has contacted us because she's been fighting with her daughter about something a little controversial.
How old's the daughter?
The daughter's 20 and she has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And the daughter is pregnant.
Oh, well
but
done.
They are not married.
Oh, yeah.
And she lives at home with her mum, Kathy. Kathy wants her to terminate the pregnancy.
Why?
Because she is not married.
Who cares about that?
I agree. I don't
Is
understand.
Kathy, maybe Kathy's religious. Let's get
Let's
Kathy
find
up.
out. Hi, Kathy.
What's up? Hello.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hi.
You want the baby terminated, is that right?
I do, Kyle.
What's going on there? There's obviously more to the story.
Well, no, I grew up in a very strict home. In those days, I'm 48, in those days you got married. You didn't have a baby without getting married.
That's
it was
true.
Just, you had a boyfriend, you got married and you moved out together. You didn't go and live together or have a baby together. He's living at home, she's living at home. So it's a baby. It's not a dog.
So what you're saying is your
But
kid...
she's 20 years old, Kathy. I mean, that's old. Hey?
Well, what age did you have Kitty at?
Well, everyone has babies at different ages. I mean, obviously, I was in my 30s, but it's not like she's 16. She's 20.
I understand, Jackie, but 20 still... I mean, she's got a whole life ahead of her. She's living at home. He's living at home.
But does she want to have this baby?
Well, we've been fighting about it, and I've told her that I'd like her to get married. She's not interested in getting married. I don't
So
think
you'd be
she's
happy
ready
to keep
for
the baby. You'd be happy to become a grandmother and have the baby
If they got married.
If they were getting married and going forward in life the way you think it should happen.
Yes, I do. I think that would be the right way to do it.
Wow.
she's not
That's a
interested
big
in
call,
marrying.
Kathy, to say that someone should terminate their pregnancy because of an antiquated
Kathy,
belief.
so you think people born out of wedlock like bastard children? Is that your thinking in 2022?
No, Brooklyn, I don't. But I just think, what if this guy just decides to piss off? Then what? I'm going to be with the baby and the child.
So the marriage is more him committing, is what you want to see.
Right, it's a commitment. What if he just decides, oh my God, this is too hard, I can't go out drinking with my mates, now I'm just going to go.
How long have they been seeing each other for?
Only a couple of years, and I just don't think that they're both emotionally ready for this.
Do you like him?
I
Do you like
can
him?
understand, Kathy, where you're coming from a little, because we're very protective of our children, and so we want the best, only the best for them. And you're worried that she's going to have this baby too young and miss out on living a life and then having children. But it's ultimately her decision. And I don't think you could ever tell your daughter to terminate her pregnancy. I mean, you don't want to ruin your relationship with your daughter.
No, I don't want to do that, but I also need her to understand that if she does go ahead with this, well, she's going to have to work out how she's going to do this, both of them financially. How are they going to support a child when she won't be able to work?
Well, does he work? Does he have a good...
He does work, but I mean, he's not on a great income. She works, she's not on a great income. They don't
What the problem is here, I think, is apart from Kathy's sort of strict upbringing herself and the want for her daughter to follow on in that same sort of life, is that if it all goes pear-shaped, and let's face it, with 20-year-old love, most often it doesn't last because people move on. And then it's going to be on Kathy's. It's going to be on Kathy's. The cost.
Her
the
daughter's
expense,
going to
the
be a single
babysitting
mother.
at
It's
home.
going to be hard. But how does she feel? Is she adamant that she wants the baby, or is she also umming and ahhing?
Look, I think you know what happens with kids. You say black, they go white, and so it gets to be a bit of well, she wants to prove me wrong, but they don't think ahead. They're just thinking for now. It's all a lot of fun, but it's not fun down the track. It's not a joke.
No, it's definitely not a joke, and she does need to think seriously about it. But, geez, it's a big call for a mum to say terminate your pregnancy.
Well, look, I think it's more factual. Like, hey, these are the facts. This is what might happen. This is because you're right. Like, it's all swept up in love and wonderfulness. And then if it goes to shit, then it's going to be on Kathy to pay for it, to deal with it, to house everyone like that. She's already done that. She's already raised
I work full
children.
time. I can't afford to give up my job. I can't raise a baby.
Right.
But I also do believe in the right for the individual woman that's having the child to choose whether they, take it full term, whether it's not right now. Like, we have those options for a reason.
Absolutely.
And people, it's not Like, I'm not one of these crazies that like, oh, it's killing the child. Like, no.
So you haven't said anything like if you have this baby, you need to find a new place to live.
Look, I haven't said that because I'm trying to make her see reason. I'm trying to make her realise this is not a good decision for now.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw in threats.
2022, there's things you can do. There's precautions you can take. It didn't have to happen.
Yeah, but it's happened now.
But it has.
The eagle has landed,
how
so
far
to speak.
along is she, can I ask?
Well, she's only 6 weeks.
Okay, all right.
So you're on a time limit here to try.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
See, is it easier, like, as mums, like, you know what your mum's like, Jackie, if your mum gets in your ear, nag, you just tune out. You're never gonna win that way, right? Or does she chip away and get in there and burrow in?
No. It does. For me, it goes the opposite. I'm just like your daughter. I'm literally like, you tell me to do that. I'm gonna now want it more because you're being an asshole. That's what I would think.
And Kathy, what happens if you convince her and you change her mind and she does what you want, and then down the track something happens, she can't have kids? Like, do you want to be the one to convince her? Shouldn't it be her decision?
Look, I understand where you're coming from, Brooklyn, but kids don't necessarily see. We've got life experience. We've seen things. We've done things. A 20-year-old doesn't really know what's ahead.
That's true.
You know what? Nobody knows what's ahead. I had a baby later in life, like I think 36, and I didn't know what was ahead either. I think it's scary at any age when you're pregnant for the first time.
But at 36, you've got a lot more life experience. You're a lot more responsible. At 20, they're still not responsible adults.
Do you like the boyfriend, or do you not like him?
Look, I don't mind him. I'm just not sure if he's going to hang around. That's my concern.
Right, because you hear all the sad parts of life over the years, and if she's upset, you hear from the daughter why. And
she just doesn't even want to marry him anyway, though, right?
That's right. So if you don't want to marry him, why do you want to have a child with him?
All right, let's take some calls, Kathy.
Slayman's rung in. Slayman, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
We're good.
Kathy, I agree with Kathy 100% on this. And just want to go back to 1 second where Brooklyn, as soon as Kathy said what she said, Brooklyn jumped in and said, oh, it's 2022. It doesn't matter where it's 2022. This generation these days think, oh, just because it's 2022, we have to let everyone do what they want. No, we don't. There are responsibilities in having a child. A 20-year-old, no matter what anyone says, a 20-year-old is not responsible enough to have a child. I'm sorry, it's not. I have 2 little girls of my own. I have to work 2 jobs, and there are sometimes where you go, you know what? I actually can't afford to put milk in the fridge. I can't afford to buy diapers. I can't afford for this and that. It is not easy, and especially with the way that the world is going right now and the cost of living. How in the world do you expect a 20-year-old and another 20-year-old that is probably all he thinks about is going out with his friends and partying and drinking and whatever, and you want to go raise a child, and I know what's going to happen. This child is going to be left on Kathy. No matter what anyone says, I don't care what any person rings up and says, that daughter of hers is going to be so overwhelmed with this, and she's going to go, Mum, you deal with it. Mum, you deal with it.
Especially if they're all living in the same house, that's highly likely that you're right there, Slayman.
Yeah.
Kyle, I had a child, and it got at stages. My wife said to her mum, you know, you look after it, because it's hard. It's not easy. All these callers ring up and going, oh, you know what? It's not. The mother is actually thinking about her daughter and saying, look, honey, you know, yes, okay, you're pregnant, but doesn't mean you can't fall pregnant later. Think about your life. Set your life up now. One of the biggest regrets I have is not setting up my life. That is something really important.
We've got someone who wants to join in on this conversation with you, Slayman. DJ wants to talk to you and Kathy.
Oh, right.
Can that happen, guys?
Yeah, that can happen. Go on.
I think you are both absolute f***ing flops. Who died and made you God? Honestly, I had a child at 20. I fell pregnant at 20, had a child at 21, and I've raised that child all on my own, no matter how much anything cost, no matter how hard it got. And I had people against me for having the child, telling me to get an abortion and that the father wouldn't stick around. At the end of the day, who cares? I don't regret that child at one moment. Not one time in my life do I regret that child. And just because we are in 2022 doesn't mean that every young parent leaves their kid at home with their parent. Because I'm telling you right now, the amount of times I've left my kid at home with their parent, My parents, I could probably count on one hand, which is
yeah. And
never.
do you know what? Do you know?
Okay?
Do you know how many? Do you know how? No. Okay, you've had your say. Now I'm going to have mine. Do you know you're probably one statistic out of probably what? Do you know how many parents I know, young parents that have given up and just given their child over to their parents? Many. You're just one case out of the other, hon. You're just one case out of the. Yes, I can because I can see.
No, you can't because you don't know Cassie's daughter. You don't know what she's capable of.
I don't know Cassie. That's right. But Cassie's sitting there. But Cassie's sitting there saying,
Cassie doesn't have the even confidence in her own daughter to raise a child. Like
exactly because I think she knows her daughter better than you. I think she knows her daughter way better than you. That is why she's saying what she's saying.
Yeah, but her daughter knows who she is. And her daughter knows who she is as a person. If her daughter believes
her daughter
she
is
can raise
rebelling
this
against
child,
her own mother. That's the only reason why she wants to have the kids. What do you mean who cares? What? Just because she's rebelling against her mother. That's the only reason why she wants to have the kids.
She's an adult.
She's not an adult. A 20-year-old is not an adult. No, she's not. In what world do you think a 20... No, she's not. I didn't care that 18-year-old...
You have no idea, mate.
20-year-old has no idea about life. All they think about is going out and partying and going with their girlfriends and
maybe in the male's brain, in the male's brain, but not in the female's brain. Once you have a child, your life changes, your perspectives, your priorities, everything changes. You will do anything.
Is that true, Jackie?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You can't underestimate Kathy's daughter here because we don't know her.
All we wanted to do was get a couple of different opinions, and I don't mind that people are firing up because Kathy needs this to figure out, what's the next step. Because what she's doing so far hasn't worked out.
Well, let's go back to Kathy. Has that helped you in any way, Kathy, make a decision or, at least make your decision stronger?
Well, it has, listening to these different views.
Some people are pretty fired up, Kathy. Did you hear that?
Very fired up, yeah. Look, I mean, I get it. It's a really difficult conversation. It's a very difficult topic, and it's really not one any of us really would like to find ourselves in at any point. I will sit down with her. We will try and have another discussion. I will sit down with both of them, and we'll see if we can work our way through this.